Check her out, boys. Number 29. Robert Seagrave, Virginia and Truckee. The VT Railroad. It's all wood. This one's wood. No? Oh, this runs off all oil?
Yep.
Oh, that's a lot easier, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine having to get that going every morning. Holy crap.
I don't control.
Yeah.
You must be from the Midwest or East?
No, I live here, but we live in California, kind of back and forth. But
okay.
I do in-scale trains.
Oh, right.
So I'm a train nut. So.
What part of California?
I'm out in the Manteca area.
Oh, okay, I'm from Santa Cruz.
Okay, very nice. Huh? Yeah, right on.
I mean, Elk Grove, I do the same thing.
Yeah, back and forth. So what year was this train manufactured?
1926.
1926.
These are Baldwin.
Yeah, Bo. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So imagine how hot it gets in here for these guys. They got to be in here when it's 115 outside. Right? When it's not moving, it's hotter.
Oh, yeah, it's moving.
I couldn't even imagine.
On a day like today, it'll hit 135 up here.
Yeah.
Without wind. But we're standing still.
Yeah.
Once we get moving, it's not bad.
Yeah. So this is just full of oil then?
That T-section,
Oh, I get it now. Okay.
that T-section is oil and what's wrapped around with water, and there's water in the back.
Okay.
Oh,
Pretty cool, Enzo.
yeah.
And how long have you been doing this for?
I started in 2000 and took a little 5 or 6 year break in there in the middle. And
Yeah.
so I've been on for 22 years. It's
Nice. You do any model railroading at all?
Actually, yeah, a little
Nice.
scale, narrow gauge myself.
Okay, very good. Very
10
good.
and 3 stuff.
Okay. And how long you been doing this, sir?
I got 44 years in the cab off and on.
Nice.
More on than off.
Yeah, huh? I hear that. Well, cool. I appreciate you guys letting us come up here and check this out.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure, no problem.
Our Heritage Days. The instruments we play on are all from that period, from the Civil War. They're well over 150 years old, and we try to keep them in good repair so that they sound just like the day they were brand new. Doesn't always work, but this gives you an idea of what people actually heard. The music that we play is all from that period. Those two pieces were two favorites of the Union Army. The first one was Rally Round the Flag, a song of the Northern troops, followed by Marching Through Georgia, probably the most hated song of the South, for obvious reasons. It commemorated Sherman's march to the sea, where he laid waste to everything between Atlanta and the Carolinas. So we'll be playing various things from that era, and sometimes we'll tell you what they are, and sometimes we'll forget to, but we hope you enjoy them, and it'll give you something to do while you wait for the train. You can listen to the music of the 1860s. Two measures.
she could take care of her necessities of the day. And then she would have, most of us today are wearing working dresses. During the Civil War for women. Since many of the women followed the camps, the number one cause of death for women in the Civil War was fire, because they would get all those layers caught in the ground fires from cooking and taking care of their men. The second cause of death for women in the Civil War was drowning, because they'd jump in the nearby lake or river to put out the fire, and then all the layers would sink them to the bottom. The third, and to me the most appalling, was surgery. Women would have elective surgery to remove the bottom 2 or 3 even tighter and make smaller waists. Realize at that time, especially at the beginning of the Civil War, nobody knew anything about sanitation. They didn't wash hands, let alone implements. They didn't have a lot of Novocaine or pain medications or anything to knock you out. So this was done under very barbaric terms, and it was done voluntarily to look better, not because they needed to have it for a necessity. Corsets were worn during the Civil War period for both men and women from birth to death. They would be born, wash them, and put a corset on them to support their body. They had sleeping corsets, they had cook's corsets, they had corsets for everything. Men had corsets. They had gotten to the point that they wore corsets so much that the muscles and tendons in their body, in their back and spine, didn't function any longer. So without a corset, they could not sit up straight or without pain. They were corseted so much of their life. There were many jobs for women following the camps because, of course, their homes were destroyed, or their food during the battle today. Please speak up.
Those are the nice ones right there. Those cannot be hot. Those are nice inside.
Home to try and have an opportunity to visit their families, take a little bit of a break. But we're also carrying some very valuable cargo on this train. We're carrying a silver box. So we could very easily be attacked by marauders at any time during our train ride today. So be aware, watch for people on the sides. We could have company at any time.
There you go, hitting the brakes. No, go like this. Go like this when you stop.
We're going on right now.
You guys need to take special note of just how wonderful this tunnel feels right now. It's nice and cool, nice and dark. It's going to be totally different on the return trip.
Amen.
Uh-oh, here they come.
Look at how close the walls are to the side of this train. Just a few inches on each side.
That's like 2 feet.
Comfort and relaxation of riding on this type of train. Think about traveling from New York to San Francisco like this. Often in cars like this. Without sleepers, it would take what we travel in a few hours now. Oh, I hope they're not marauders. Side of the train. I hope they're just waiting for the train at the station. Thank goodness. They're not near the station building though. Oh my. We'll have to be safe. Colonel, did you see the marauders? Colonel. Hope he sees them.
Oh, look at that picture. There's the front. Video camera.
Oh my gosh, we're getting very near the marauders. I hope that we are safe. Oh gosh. Where are they? Or maybe they moved.
There's the diesel right there, Enzo. That's the diesel one.
Colonel, they're marauders. Oh no, they're Union. The Union troops are up ahead. Hide the silver. Make sure it's safe. Oh no, they're stopping the train. They must be blocking our path.
Actually, though?
Yeah, for real.
What do we do wrong?
Oh no. I hope we don't get boarded. Protect your families. Be prepared.
Why?
Because look, they're going to shoot cannons at us, dude.
No, they're not.
Let's hope there ain't a little rock in there or something.
It's actually supposed to get loud.
Here, we should rip this up for weapons.
Is this actually supposed to?
Oh, Jesus.
Ow, my ears scared me.
Here comes more. They're going to shoot more at you. They ain't
Wait,
joking.
no.
All of a sudden, the real cannonball comes out of there.
I'm scared.
Uh-oh, they got a failure on that cannon over there.
Jesus.
Oh, man, look at the ground blew up. Oh, man.
This.
Now you know why I said don't sit at the very back.
Why?
Oh, look at it.
They're coming.
They're going to battle.
Smells like old permanent.
My ear hurt. Must be war.
Fire you chilling though.
Sit up now.
Jeez, I felt that one.
Yup, there's another one, yeah.
Oh, just leave him.
You're supposed to leave a man behind.
Back right here didn't matter.
Go.
You shoot him on the floor.
I know some of those glasses are loud.
Yeah, all these guys that went down, they got over it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you look to the left, you'll see there's a cannon with the implements of the sticks crossed over the barrel of the cannon. That means that cannon misfired, and they have a procedure they have to go through before they can try and refire the cannon again. Once it's clear and the rods are standing up, it means the cannon is now loaded and ready to fire. And you'll see just before they fire, they will actually drop the implements to the outside of the cannon, and that means that they're prepared to shoot.
Oh, it's a ring! That's so cool.
Put it on the mountain too.
Another one!
Oh, look at them.
In 17 years, I've never seen a double donut like that. Recall means the battle is officially over, but please don't sit down yet. The combatants and reenactors will be assembling in front of us, and they will be providing a salute to you to thank you for coming to the train. Also, while we're waiting for them to do that,
I think they're gonna fire it.
I can't take a picture, my phone's too long. I can't take a picture until
as the gentlemen prepare, the soldiers and officers prepare, this volley, the goal of this volley is for them to be able to shoot in unison to the best of their ability. And the cannon should also be joining them if they have one prepared.
Really loud. All of them at once? 1, 2,
No! Oh my gosh. I know more storage.
Three cheers for the Pueblo! Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Woo!
Glad you guys are all alive.
We will be resuming our ride back up to the station. Please take your seats.
Tight curves, and they sure don't make them like that for modern railroads. Then the other reason is we have to go back up that very steep 8% grade over there. So these guys have to get a pretty good run at it.
You guys ready, Dad?
Get ready, I told you to go fast, right?
Is this how fast it's
The
coming
Gold
up
Hill
the way?
Hotel and Saloon right there is one of the finest in the Old West and the longest in continuous operation in the state of Nevada. They actually opened in 1859. That's before Nevada was Nevada. I'm going to introduce you now to the, please sit.
Go faster.
This little girl here in the tower used to hang above the Liberty Firehouse. Anybody want to guess what happened to the Liberty Firehouse? That's right, it did burn down. All we have left is that stupid bell. Now just a minute. Directly in front of us you can see a great big hole in the mountain. It's all covered in black soot. That is proof that steam locomotives did go all the way through Tuttle Creek. This is the other end of Tunnel Creek Road. Now today, our loading tower is the number 29 steam locomotive. But not long ago, we set the 29 in those 3 Pullman coach cars that I hope you noticed when we went by the yard. Sent them off to Pawhuska, Oklahoma, where the 4 of them starred in a Martin Scorsese film. The name of the film is Killers of the Flower Moon. Has anybody read that book by any chance? Really good book. I'm not going to give anything away, but I will tell you it is the story of the Osage Indians of Tulsa and everything that they went through after that oil was discovered on their land. Now here's the real good news. A couple of fine actors are in that movie. Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. Here's even better news. A couple of actors that are not in that movie. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Woo! Right? We're going to go back through Tunnel 4 in a minute, and trust me, it is going to be totally different. Please sit. How tough is that rule? It's going to be totally different. It's going to be very hot. It's going to be very, very smoky. If you still have a mask, put it on. Please sit down. Please sit down. Thank you. Don't get up anymore. Okay? Seated is seated. Last week, a woman in the back corner was frantically trying to get her mask on. She couldn't do it. At the very last second, she just flipped her t-shirt. Only thing I could think of was Mardi Gras. So now, I carry a pocket full of these beads. It's going to happen again. I know it's going to. It's a true story, actually. I invited you to come. All right, guys, here we go. Even more fun at 4 o'clock when it's warm. The good news is we now have a very valid reason for racing uptown and quickly ordering 3 bloody dinners. All the way across the ravine, way over on the top of the hill where you see the big pile of great tails. That's the Foreman mine, and they ceased operations back in 1942. But that's the mine they're trying to reopen as we speak. Up until 2 weeks ago, they had started to set up some equipment. Then we had real high winds up here, 95 miles an hour, so they had to lay everything back down. They'll get it open. They've spent too much money already. All the way up at the end of this ravine, we're going to pass one more mine. It was called the Julia Ward William. It was a ridiculous name for it because even though they dug it for 4 years, they never found 1 ounce of ore, much less bullion. The only reason he kept digging is That's the only way they can continue to sell totally worthless mining stock. That was the most popular game out there. Everybody did it. Stock fraud, stock manipulation, stock rumors. That's what established the city of San Francisco and the Board of Exchange. Millionaires were made and millionaires were broken almost every week because of all that fraud. Finally, because it had been so prevalent, the state of Nevada led the nation in establishing very strict and regulatory mining laws. And they should have, because they were without a doubt the most corrupt bunch of people on the face of the earth. Right down here below us, you'll see a little stack of granite block foundation stones. That's where the Ward mine is located. These corrals and animals were brought up this spring. Those little burros over there were brought in from southern Nevada where they roam free. And then not too long ago, these people brought in those huge donkeys. And I mean, there's one over there that is 20 hands high. I've never seen a donkey like that. Incredible. We're going back through Tunnel 5. Going this direction actually opens up what I think is the most panoramic view we still have of Virginia City. That beautiful Catholic church, St. Mary's of the Mountains, for example. Then on the other side of our tracks, about halfway up Sun Mountain here, it's kind of difficult to see now. There's a large Victorian-style building up there, but they've completely encased it in scaffolding. But it is the 4th Ward School, one of the finest of the Old West, and the very first one to have indoor plumbing. That Catholic church played a very important role in the history of Virginia City. Fires were a real common thing. But the one that everybody called the Great Fire began in October of 1875, and it started early one morning way out north of town between two boarding houses. Very quickly, high winds had it just race in this direction. Just before it got to the church, the city fathers came out and they begged Bishop Patrick Minogue to use that church as a fire break. And he said, okay, but you have to rebuild it. Mark Twain was writing for the Territorial Enterprise at the time, and he said in what seemed like just minutes, 70% of Virginia City had been destroyed. The other 40% was on fire. He was a horrible mathematician, but he was a pretty good storyteller. Actually, 90% was lost. 25,000 people were homeless. At its zenith, there were only 30,000 people up there, so you can understand how devastating that fire was. But there was so much wealth. Actually, there were more millionaires here than any city in the world. And because of all that wealth, within 1 year, everything was completely rebuilt, including that beautiful church. Now, they want you to know you're all invited in just to enjoy the beauty of it. They don't care what your beliefs or your religion is. If you need more incentive than that, I've got it. Ready? They sell wine in the basement. Yep. Lady asked me last week, hey, do they sell wine in the basement of St. Paul's Episcopal Church? I said, I don't know, I haven't made it that far. Right over here to the east, you're going to see a big fenced arena with some grandstands around it. That's where, once again, we're going to have our famous camel races. Real quickly, show of hands, how many of you own a camel? Nobody. That's okay. You can bring your llama, you can bring your zebra, or you can bring your ostrich. 3 years ago, we had 2 Australian emus racing up here. And the only thing you never have to bring, because we always have too many of them, that would be jackasses. I think it has to do with all that beer they start selling around 7:30 in the morning. Once you get past this little Comstock gold mill, by the way, it was the last mill built. If you look directly off to the east over there in a little saddle between 2 hills, you'll see a cone-shaped hill out there is called Sugar Road, but uptown, they will tell you that that begins a 100-mile view. I'm not sure it's 100 miles, but when it's not completely encased in smoke, it's a pretty nice view. In just a minute, we're going to get past these few little apartments, and then you're going to be able to see the back of the Mackey Mansion. Now, we didn't get to tell you much about Mackey, but he was just absolutely one of the wealthiest men in the world. Now, in spite of the fact that the mansion is absolutely haunted, it's still a real popular place for weddings. We get wedding parties on the train service all summer long. 2 weeks ago, we had a wedding ceremony right here. The bride and groom took their vows right at the very back of this car. As a matter of fact, tonight we're having another special 5 o'clock run for another wedding ceremony. It's starting to get to be really chic to get married right on these little cars. Well, this little trip is over, and we once again want to thank all those wonderful reenactors. And we also want to thank you, and we want you to do 2 things.
You're almost to a cold
Please
Dr.
travel
Pepper.
safely wherever you're headed, because we want you to come back. And when you get home, if you go on Facebook, and Facebook is still there,